Okay.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this latest chat session with me and Sam. Hello, Sam. How are you? Are you good?
I'm glorious, delightful.
Are you ready for this? Are you ready? I was born ready.
It's difficult, isn't it, to be ready for a Jack session because you never know what's going to happen next.
That is true. That is true. What would be happening right now if we were in school and it was like, what time is it? We're recording this a couple of days before, so it's like 5 to 12. So we'd be in that lesson before lunch, wouldn't we? We'd like 10 minutes into period 3.
Throwing competition.
So what?
It's like pineapple throwing. That's what we would be doing.
Yeah, that happens.
Like, have you ever thrown a pineapple? I've never thrown a pineapple.
Where do you hold a pineapple to throw it? Do you throw it from the stem, like the leaf bit, or because the like the skin? What do you call it? The stuff on the outside. I guess it's skin. It's quite prickly, isn't it?
Yeah. I think you've got to throw it like an American football.
Yeah.
Or like one of those the like Nerf ones with
Nerf
the tail.
ball. Yeah. Yes.
You got to like throw it like that.
A pineapple is God's Nerf ball, isn't it? Let's say that because it's like looks like a Nerf ball. Maybe the Nerf ball was designed. I wonder if it makes the same noise when it goes through the air. You know, they like do that thing. Yeah. I think they do that.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Because I'm just wondering what happens to a pineapple on impact. You know?
Yeah. Because they're quite.
Because a watermelon just like explodes everywhere.
Yeah.
An apple kind of retains a lot of its core. Banana's just going to mush.
Yeah.
But what happens if you throw a pineapple? I don't know.
Today's thought, people, if you're listening and watching to this, what happens when you throw a pineapple? There's not enough fruit throwing in the world.
There isn't, because I guess it's a waste of food, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really.
It's a horrendous misuse of resources.
Yeah. In times like these.
In times like these, to be throwing fruit is a massive diss on.
You could probably get arrested, actually, for throwing fruit right now.
We used to have a competition every Christmas of throwing baby bells. Baby bells are quite.
Fruit.
We did it in the Silverdale Centre, actually. We had this group, like a CU group, that used to meet on Thursday lunchtime, and every year in our Christmas party, it would degenerate into putting the bin at the far end of the Silverdale Centre and trying to ping baby bells from one end of the room to the other and get them in the bin. Baby bells are good to throw, and they last for quite a long time because they're encased in that like red packaging.
Oh, so you're not taking it out of the packaging?
No.
You're maintaining it in the
yeah. I mean,
in the
sometimes
wax.
it gets squished. If you like ping it quite hard, they can get squished after a while. But they generally speaking, they last between 15 and 20 throws for the average baby bell.
In my primary school, we used to take the cheese out and then throw the red wax bit onto the ceiling of the classroom.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's the classic.
What is that red wax? What is it made? Where's it come from? How do they manufacture that?
I think when they cut out on like Air Jordans, when they cut out the tick, right? When they cut out the tick, the red that's like left over.
I was about to spit my tea out. Go on. Sorry.
I reckon it's that. You know, you get a bit of red, whatever, bit of red plastic.
Right.
Cut out the tick, the leftover bit, baby bell.
You don't think the actual tick itself is made of? I mean, which way round is it? Do Nike use the red baby bell wax to put the tick in the Air Jordans, or is it the other way around?
Well, it's the same factory.
Okay. So my question is, what comes first? Do they round up all the leftover unused wax from the ticks to make the coverings for baby bells, or do they use the remaining covering from baby bell stuff to make the tick for the Air Jordans?
Here's what happens, right? Here's what happens.
Explain it to me so I understand.
On the side of this big factory, this big manufacturing factory, right? They had a huge extractor fan,
Right.
Massive extractor fan
Yeah.
to, cool down everything inside the factory.
Yeah.
Well, one day, a flock of birds flew into the extractor fan, got sliced up,
yeah.
and what came out the other side were these sheets of red. I'm gonna say bird gunk, and those sheets of red bird gunk.
Yeah.
The different people in the factory had different ideas of what to use it for.
Okay.
Mr. Nike cut out his red ticks.
Alan Nike.
Alan Nike.
CEO.
Williamson Babybel. Took the other bit and the perfect thing to wrap my cheese in.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Word for word.
Yeah. And often of an evening they can be seen in the kind of private accommodation that's part of this factory. Well, if they need to stay like overnight, there's a whole like living area that only Williamson Nike and Williamson Babybel and Alan Nike stay in, and they've got like a long banqueting table. The one where if you say pass the salt, they have to like get up and like walk around with it because it's like that long, and they often sit at the end of that either end of that table, congratulating each other on their successes, on how they were able to, essentially turn them into just average companies doing fairly menial things into being industry leaders.
Yeah, because before that, it was just, cheese and shoes.
Yeah.
But now it's like Babybels and Nikes.
It's next level.
Next level. I feel like we've diverged into becoming one of those conspiracy theory YouTube videos, Like horses aren't real sort of thing.
Yeah. Or like there's no such thing as like baby pigeons. Do you not know about this one?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
You've never seen a baby pigeon. So basically what pigeons are, because all of a sudden there was not that many pigeons and then there was loads. So basically, like at night, the government goes around replacing the batteries in pigeons because you never see baby pigeons.
Why?
Because they're spying on us. They're mechanical and they're everywhere, and it's a vehicle to spy on average people, and they've there's various algorithms which the pigeons use to detect societal trends.
Facial recognition software. Yeah.
that's used for targeted marketing in different things. So it's the pigeons in my garden that inform various ads that pop up on my like Twitter feed and things like that.
So it's not just because you've left a setting on your phone and you were talking to somebody about wanting a waffle iron, and then you get ads for waffle irons.
No, it's the pigeons.
It's the pigeons.
Yeah.
Here's my question. Just playing devil's advocate to this.
Yeah.
Why are they always having sex? Because like they're always I never see a baby, but the number of times you're walking past a tree, there's a lot of noise.
That's true. They're not actually having sex. The government version 2.0 of your average pigeon. They're able to replace the batteries within each other. So it doesn't require human intervention. But it's a painful experience for the pigeon. So that's why there's so much fluttering and feathers and commotion, because the pigeons are able to replace the batteries in each other. But you can't replace your own batteries. Like a little bit like you can't scratch that bit on your own back.
Mm.
The pigeons have to do that for each other, and that's what they do. So that having pigeons having sex thing is actually not. They're just replacing the batteries.
They're just.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning into this week's Jack session. We hope that you've found it enjoyable and informative and inspiring and helpful in lots of ways.
We talk about the big questions. That's the thing. The big question. It's the things that other people are afraid to ask. That's what we.
That is true. We'll be back at another time with something meaningful. Should we just stop this one here and then do another one and then just put this as this is just as having like a silly chat over a cup of tea?
I sort of think we should carry on into the meaningful now,
Okay.
because then people have got to commit to get to it.
Okay. All right.
They've got to earn it.
Okay. Okay. So from the sublime to the ridiculous, from Baby Bells and Nike factories and pigeon sex, we've now moved on to think about the next in our series. This is impossible. How can we possibly talk about anything meaningful after that? I think we can.
This is what we do every week. This
I
is
think
what
we can do it.
on a Friday.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So we've posted up a couple of videos so far looking at some different emotional needs, things that we all have in different levels in order to, and that we all need in order to feel good about ourselves. There's 10 of them that we look at in Jack. Last week, me and Sam talked a little bit about security and the need that some of us have for security. V has posted a video. Well, hopefully we've posted it. I can't get it to upload at the moment, but at some point, V has done a video for us thinking about attention and the emotional need that different ones of us have for attention. And today, Sam, you and I are going to talk a little bit about the emotional need of appreciation. Appreciation, what it means to be appreciated. What does it mean for you, Sam? What does appreciation look like? How would you define it? And
it's funny you say that, because I think that you're my go-to person for understanding appreciation, because I think this is something that you talk about a lot. So
because I need lots of it.
So rather than me waffling on about some kind of half-baked definition of appreciation, which makes me think of Ben and Jerry's ice cream, and yes, I do, then why don't you share with us what you think appreciation is? Because I know that you have had some very well-rounded, carefully handcrafted thoughts about this.
Okay, so all right, I'll share some thoughts, and then maybe you can help us to hone those down a little bit on our little sort of worksheet that we give out about these different emotional needs. The definition of appreciation is being thanked and recognised for doing a good job, or being noticed for putting lots of effort into something. Noticed for putting lots of effort into something. Now, the thing about these emotional needs, from my perspective, is that none of them are weaknesses. None of them are kind of chinks in our armour. They're all different things that we all have in different measure. All of us need to feel some or one or a load of these things at different times. And for me, for whatever reason, the way I'm wired, appreciation is an important thing. And for years, I couldn't figure this out, except that I would just get really hacked off if I made somebody like a cup of tea and they didn't say thank you. And I'd be like, often then go off on an abusive tirade about how disrespectful and appreciative and impolite that person was, and all these kind of things. And it was only when I kind of dig deeper about this, and we were doing this stuff with Jack years ago, and filling in these questionnaires that we do with some of you probably listening to and watching this, that I realised appreciation was a big need of mine. Why? I've got no idea. I don't think I was not appreciated as a child. I don't have some painful childhood memory of doing something and not being thanked for it or anything like that. It's just how I'm wired. And that's the truth. That's the case for all of us, I think, with these different things. It's just how we are. We're all unique. We're all different. We need a different combination of things. So appreciation, for me, like understanding that is important for me, has kind of helped me recognize that if I do something for somebody, then knowing that I need to feel appreciated, I can kind of prepare myself for not being appreciated, if you see what I mean. Yeah. Similarly, for people who work with me, like yourself, Sam, and other people, and Sue, who used to be part of our team, was always great at this. In fact, she would take the mick to a ridiculous extent. Like every time I would make her a cup of tea, she'd be like, Chris, I want to thank you for making this cup of tea. It's a special cup of tea. I really appreciate you. And I appreciate the effort that you've made into, and it would totally lose all sense of like, yeah. So yeah, the need to be appreciated, to have things that you do like kind of pointed out and recognized by people that you're doing them for. So to bring that down onto like a school level, for example, if that you've put like quite a lot of work into doing something, into a piece of work, into an essay or some homework or something, and you have that feeling, you wouldn't want to admit this probably in front of your friends, but you have that feeling that you want the teacher to look at it and to say, oh, that looks really good, or I'm really looking forward to reading this, or, thank you, is actually, if you have a need for appreciation like I do, it's probably quite important for you for that teacher to say, thank you for doing that. It looks like you've put a lot of effort in. I look forward to reading it, or even giving you some feedback afterwards to say how much they appreciated what you did. Whereas if they just say, yeah, stick it on the desk, I'll mark it next couple of weeks, you'll be like, what the hell?
What was the point in that?
Yeah, because you have a need for appreciation. And if that resonates with you, as I said that, then the chances are that, yeah, I know what that feels like. Yeah, that really hurts. That makes me feel really down. I'll go to my next lesson feeling really rubbish because I'd put a lot of effort into this thing and it wasn't noticed. It wasn't appreciated, or I felt it wasn't appreciated. Now, we can't expect all teachers to personally thank us for every bit of work we do, but it's another exercise in this thing we talk about all the time, which is self-awareness, a recognition that we need, if you're having a need to feel appreciated like I do, then to be aware of that and to recognize when you do something, it's important for you to get some kind of feedback, some recognition for that thing that you've done. So that's what it looks like for me, appreciation. I talked for a long time there, Sam, I'm sorry.
No, that was really good. That's, like I say, you've done a lot of good thinking about that. I guess the thing that's maybe difficult at school is that appreciation is so fleeting.
Yeah.
Because there's so much that's happening all the time. There's always another piece of work, or there's always another even expectation from a friend, You might get appreciation for liking a particular message or a particular photo, but there's always another thing. Or you might get appreciation for going with them to speak to this teacher, or going to this party with them, or talking to that person for them, or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's always another thing.
Yeah.
And there's just so much going on at school. I think it must be hard for somebody that really needs appreciation.
Yeah.
Because the chances are, like you said, you can't expect every teacher to give you that. So there must be so many moments throughout a school week, like obviously things are different now, but through a school week, where you don't feel appreciated. And I guess for a lot of people as well, you probably don't feel appreciated at home all the time either.
Yeah.
And that can be difficult when we feel like we're putting a lot of effort in and somebody else doesn't see how much of an effort it is for us to do that thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know, as somebody who needs appreciation, what would you say you've learned about dealing with it when you don't get it?
Yeah. So I think the main thing is recognizing the need for appreciation and accepting that that's not going to happen all the time. So again, it's the self-awareness thing. So you can prepare yourself to not feel appreciated, and also to kind of, there's no kind of quick, easy answers to how to kind of eliminate the need for appreciation. But say if you're the kind of person that posts something on Instagram that, a picture of you looking a certain way or whatever, and unless you get like 300 likes within the first hour, your self-esteem takes a nosedive, again, that for me, that indicates a need for appreciation. So the first step of being able to deal with that and maybe have that need to be appreciated met in a good way is by not hinging all your self-esteem on the fact that you don't get appreciated, and recognizing that's not an easy thing to do, because we all like our posts to be liked and we all like our homework to be appreciated, and if we, clear up the kitchen and our mum says thank you and it was really important for me that you did that, and we're not going to get that all the time. So recognizing that we need to find other ways of getting our sense of self-worth in check and not just relying on the praise and the thanks of other people to do that is really, really important. Because it can work the opposite way. A lack of appreciation can mean our self-esteem can nosedive, can take a real turn. If I'm putting something out there and I really, really want you to say to me what a good job I've done of it, but you don't, then not only am I not being appreciated, I'm not getting topped up, I'm actually sinking. I actually feel pretty bad about myself. And
Yeah.
when we're in a situation where our emotional needs, in this case appreciation, aren't being met, it can manifest in some really negative behavior. For it, classically, you can start to think bad about yourself. You can't think, actually, that picture that I put on Instagram that I was really hoping would get 300 likes has only got 50. Maybe it's not as good a picture as I thought. Maybe I shouldn't put it on there. Maybe I should take it down. Maybe I should cut off my friends because they don't appreciate me. And all of a sudden we can start in a spiral of negative behavior. So the self-awareness thing is really important, and recognizing that our inherent value as individuals isn't dependent on the appreciation of others. That's really important. And taking pride in something that you do. So being satisfied that you've completed a piece of work or done something as well as you can do, and taking some satisfaction in that, and not just being dependent on the teacher or other pupils or something saying, "Oh, that looks really good. Thank you so much for doing that." Is really important. And this is the last thing, a way to kind of balance that out is to help people that you're close to, friends, family, to be aware that you have that need to feel appreciated. So those people around you who are close to you know that you need to feel appreciated, so they can help you in that. And there's nothing, I don't think there's anything bad about that. I don't have any problem with telling the people that I'm closest to and my friends with that I have a need for appreciation, because then if I make them a cup of tea, they're going to say thank you.
Yeah.
That's not difficult for them to do. They're not telepathic. They can't guess that. They might just not do that. If I go and take my daughter a cup of tea upstairs or something like that while she's doing her homework, she might be so focused on it she doesn't say thank you, but she always does say thank you because I always make a big deal about it. So telling people around you that, and there's no, I think that's a really easy thing for us to do. You don't have to do it to everybody, but to tell your closest friends or let them to know, hey, one of my big needs is to feel appreciated. So if you can help me in that, and then maybe you can help them in other areas.
I suppose what you're saying is the more that we understand what our emotional needs are, the more that we can manage them.
Yeah.
So the more we're aware of what they are, the more we're aware of how they affect us and how we can manage them. And then it stops us falling into either extreme, doesn't it? Because I suppose if you are somebody that really does need appreciation, but you don't get it from people, maybe people aren't aware, or maybe the people in your life are very busy. Like maybe you barely see your mum because she's worked such long hours.
Yeah.
Maybe your teachers aren't the best at showing it, particularly. Who knows? That it can push you into the extreme of feeling really bad about yourself, like you're saying. But then also the other way is we can go the other way and kind of focus ourselves on the people that will give us appreciation.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, if I mess about in lessons and I rude to the teacher and I don't pay any attention and I mess around, then there's a group of people in that class that will appreciate me for that. So I'm going to do that because then that satisfies my need. Or I'm going to be in a relationship, I'm going to date this person because they really appreciate me.
Yeah.
And I might not actually be that into them, but they appreciate me. They think I'm cool. They think I'm attractive. They want to be with me. So I'm going to be in that relationship because that fulfills my need.
Yeah.
Which is like a selfish way to be, really.
Yeah.
So I guess probably we're going to find this out as we go along, I think. But there's extremes on both ends.
Yeah.
But if you're aware of what your emotional needs are, then you can maintain yourself somewhere in the middle, and you can manage that, and you can help other people help you manage that.
Yeah.
Be aware of it.
Yeah. The self-awareness thing is massive in all this. For me, the whole point of exploring some of these different emotional needs is to increase our level of self-awareness. And the first almost the first step in any kind of way to positively help understand ourselves and how we think and how we feel, and then therefore how we can alter our behavior, the stuff that's on the outside, is self-awareness. What we find, particularly when, you know, with those of you who are a bit younger, when we're younger, we're not as self-aware because we don't know ourselves as much. I mean, throughout the whole of life is a journey of self-awareness. We figure out ourselves as we go along. So we're not going to kind of have this nailed by the time we're 15. That's not going to happen. It's unlikely going to happen by the time we're 55 either, I don't think. So it's a journey of self-awareness, but understanding ourselves and looking for positive ways in which we can get those needs met, and being aware of those needs in the first place is really important, because we talk to a lot of people, and a lot of people say to us, oh yeah, you know, I was in such a bad mood last night and I was on my phone and I was messaging people and they weren't messaging me back, and I was in such a bad mood and I didn't know why, and then somebody said this thing that really shouldn't have affected me very much, but it did, and somebody made a sarcastic comment on my phone or sent me a message, or I found out that there was a whole group of my friends that they were talking and they weren't involving me, and it made me feel really low. And then you can sit there and we kind of go round and round and round in these circles, and it's like we spiral down and down and down. And a lot of the reason that we feel like that is a lack of self-awareness, is that we just feel crap and we don't know why. And that's what we want to try and avoid with help in this self-awareness stuff, in understanding these emotional needs, is because there is always a reason that we feel crap. I think always. I mean, there are some times where, you know, you just wake up in a bad mood and that kind of thing, but it is usually as a result of external factors that we can't control. People not saying something, somebody not being there, something not turning out how you thought it was going to, all these different things. And self-awareness, being aware of what we need in order to feel good, is a really good step to help us understand ourselves and prevent ourselves from getting into those cycles of just feeling down and angry. And when we do that, it then often demonstrates itself in really negative behavior, negative to ourselves, negative to other people, which can have some, you know, sometimes some not very good consequences.
Yeah. Because I guess when we're talking about these needs, and I suppose we should wrap this one up, but when we're talking about these needs, we're not just trying to talk about, oh, what are your needs and how can you have them met? Yeah. But also how important it is to be able to manage it when you don't have them met.
Yeah.
When those needs in you aren't fulfilled.
Yeah.
Because that happens to all of us at different stages in our lives, where these things that we really need don't happen for us.
Yeah.
And we have to be able to still get out of bed in the morning.
Yeah.
We have to be able to still believe good about ourselves. Yeah. We have to still see some of our worth and value as a human being, even if we don't feel appreciated, or like last week, we don't feel very secure, or people aren't paying us any attention.
Yeah.
And that's that big word resilience that we talk about a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There's so much we could talk about for all these kind of things. But yeah, and if any of the stuff that we've talked about in this, or any of the other ones around emotional needs, kind of click with you, then we'd love, perhaps when we're back in school, I can't think of how it's going to happen any other way, maybe make sure you talk to us about some of this stuff, because the kind of questionnaire that we do, it's like 50 questions, and it's a good way of, you know, if you answer it honestly, trying to help ascertain which of these emotional needs are really important to us, and then we can kind of talk through individually with those of you that are interested to figure out how we can get those needs met in a positive way. And ultimately it can lead to us, you know, feeling good about ourselves. And we always say this, how we feel about ourselves affects everything. It affects everything. Every relationship, every conversation, every task, every bit of work that we do, how we feel about ourselves. If we feel happy and secure and confident in ourselves, then it affects everything. And that's what we're here for. That's why we talk about this stuff, because that's our desire for you guys to help you not just be a kind of victim of whatever circumstances you're in, but to be able to kind of rise above that and to understand that you are, you know, worthy of being appreciated and being respected and feeling secure and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now because we've banged on for long enough. For those of you that are stuck at this till the end, well done for getting through the whole Baby Bell, Nike, pigeons, everything thing, and getting through to the end of this meaningful bit.
We love that.
We do. It's probably time for next lesson now, isn't it? We've banged on to at least, yes, it's 25 past 12. It's nearly lunchtime.
Oi!
What are you going to have for lunch, Sam? Have you thought about this yet?
Well, we just had a waffle iron delivered.
Really?
Yes.
Ah, check you out.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to feature heavily in the next few days, I'm feeling. Waffles for breakfast, lunch and dinner.
Ah, yeah.
Good job. Right, well, enjoy your waffles. I'm gonna go and see what the commotion is in my garden. I think it's some pigeons, going at it. So I'm gonna go break that up.
Throw a pineapple at them.
And then some old Nikes or something like that. Yeah. Thank you, Sam. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it as always.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for those of you that have endured this till the end. And we will see you again soon with another Jack video.
Bye.